Hey, buddy, watch this.
Hello, Regis Kilbin is the name, and Heroes of the Storm is the game. And today I'd like to take a look at my 5 best hero traits. So these are the heroes with the default traits that are the strongest and most impactful in games. I'm not saying these are the best heroes necessarily, just that their traits are the biggest part of their kits and impact who they are as a hero the most. So starting with number 5, it's a hero named Sylvanas and her trait, Black Arrows. Basic attacks and abilities stun minions, mercenaries, and structures for 1 second. This trait has really defined Sylvanas as the specialist that she is. If you leave her uncontested in a lane, she is absolutely going to destroy it, because not only does she stop minions and towers from attacking, that also helps her build up her own waves of minions crashing in and doing extra damage right alongside her. And Sylvanas does a fair amount of damage on her own as is, especially when she gets some talents reinforcing all that. So Black Arrows makes her devastating alone in a lane, but it also makes her the best escort in the game when it comes to a boss or objective monster pushing a lane. So if you can get a boss, a Garden Terror, or Dragon Knight, something like that, pushing alongside Sylvanas, all those tower and fort and keep shots that they typically absorb, which burns down their health very fast, Sylvanas can help deny that and make them even better than they already were. This is what made her so very good on the old map Haunted Mines, and in fact she would often just automatically win the game for your team if you didn't hard counter her with a hero like Tassadar. But she's still good and still sees play at both competitive and in Hero League levels because of the trait Black Arrows, and a still good kit that surrounds and supports it. But Black Arrows is really the defining attribute of this hero. At the number 4 spot, we actually have yet another specialist. This time, it's Zarya and her trait, Creep Tumor. This one lets you lay down a creep tumor that creates a nice circle of creep around it that grows, and on that creep, your summons move a little bit faster, and you move a little bit faster, and you regenerate a little bit of extra health, and these tumors do last for essentially 4 minutes. So tumors are very good when Zarya can fight on them, just because it makes her and her minions a little bit better at fighting and escaping and chasing and all that fun stuff. But that's really not the advantage of creep tumors and what makes them the 4th best trait in Heroes of the Storm as far as I'm concerned. The real advantage is that they also provide vision in their entire radius. So when a good Zarya is able to place creep tumors across the map in a variety of spots, suddenly her team can get vision of the entire map. They know when ganks are approaching, they know when the enemy team is making rotations, they can see if they're threatening the boss, they can see pretty much everything, and even if the enemy team decides to destroy these creep tumors with damage, which is possible, that you're still wasting the enemy team's time and cooldowns and mana, and typically in a favorable trade since creep tumors only cost 20 mana yourself. So whether they provide vision, whether they annoy the heck out of the enemy team, creep tumors can give you a huge strategic advantage, and they're one big part of why Zarya is such a popular and powerful hero. Moving on to the 3rd best trait in Heroes of the Storm, if I can find her. It's the newest character in the game as of right now, the assassin Ming, and her trait, Critical Mass. Getting a takedown will refresh the cooldown on all of your abilities. Yes, that means both your basic abilities and your heroic abilities. This is just one of the many things that makes Ming such a devastating hero right now, is that once you get that first kill, by piling out tons of damage with all of your abilities, suddenly everything is reset. You can cast your heroic again, you can dump even more damage into the enemy's face, which tends to create a self-fulfilling cycle of kill after kill after kill after kill. I've seen Ming's chain together 5 kills purely because of Critical Mass. Even if they just get an extra kill or 2 thanks to this trait, in most games that's more than enough to start pulling ahead or even secure a victory. making critical mass incredibly strong in the hands of a skilled player who knows how to play aggressively and position themselves in ways to take advantage of these cooldown reductions or erasals, if you will. So critical mass, fantastic trait on an incredibly strong hero. But not the best, I don't think. Moving on to the second best trait in Heroes of the Storm. I'm going to take a look at Leoric and the trait Undying. Become a ghost when you die and resurrect upon reaching full health. Your abilities and talents don't do damage while dead, but will still heal you for 50% of their normal amount, causing you to cheat death. So essentially when Leoric dies anywhere on the battlefield, he stays in that exact spot as a ghost, and he can do a couple things. He can annoy opponents with slows. He can heal back his new undead health bar to make himself respawn even faster, and he can chop 5, 10, 20 seconds off of his respawn timer pretty easily doing so. He also provides vision while he's in his ghost form. So there are a few different advantages to the Undying trait, but really the biggest thing is just being able to get back in the action 20 or 30 seconds faster than you're supposed to. And not only that, but coming back anywhere that you want. So you can actually return to base if you want, if you need to be safe or get ready to defend the core. You can stay right there where the enemy team is, just ready to jump right back in and start tanking once more. You can move into positions to gain vision or set up ganks where they're not expecting you to be back quite that quickly. Basically, in Undying, you have all the advantages. You get to do pretty much anything you want, and deaths aren't as punishing, giving Leoric opportunities to make bigger plays, chase a little bit harder, make riskier engagements without feeling the full brunt of like a minute of downtime followed by another 10 or 20 seconds of running back to the fight. So Undying is a huge advantage. It made Leoric, frankly, incredibly overpowered originally at his release, and it still makes him a viable tank in a variety of settings, even if he doesn't have the stats or the crowd control of some of the more popular tanks. Undying is good enough that it still makes him good, just on the back of Undying. Otherwise, his kit is just merely average at best, but Undying is just ridiculously good. But it's not, in my mind, the best trait in the game. That honor is reserved for Tyrande. Let's move her to a normal skin. Tyrande and the trait Hunter's Mark. Make an enemy vulnerable, increasing all damage taken by 25% and revealing them for 4 seconds. Cannot be used on structures. Now, in the past, Hunter's Mark was even better because it could be used on structures. And there's also a talent that reduces the cooldown of Hunter's Mark by 6 seconds. Used to be reduced by even more. So Hunter's Mark has actually gotten nerfed recently. Tyrande has certainly lost favor recently as well. She used to be the #1 hero and healer in the game. She's fallen pretty far down as far as competitive meta tier lists are concerned. But I don't think that made Hunter's Mark all that much worse. At its base level, to me, it's still the strongest trait in the game. Some people might consider that debatable, but most heroes don't get vulnerabilities like this until level 16. And Tyrande is already so good at securing people with Lunar Fair and finding people with Sentinel that Hunter's Mark just makes her so very good at securing kills and isolating targets and guiding your team. When you mark a target, everybody sees that mark. Suddenly they know who to attack and when and how much pressure to apply. So Hunter's Mark is good both on its own, just because it provides a huge debuff to the enemy hero and makes them very susceptible to death, but it also is good in the hands of a skilled player who can use it to guide and influence the behavior of their team and use it in a timely way that makes big plays and secures kills in the right moments. So Hunter's Mark has all the potential to start influencing the game right away. Some of the other traits we've mentioned, like Leoric's Undying, it's usually better in the late game, you know. Sylvanas has to line up to work well. Ming things have to be going pretty well for hers to work. Even Zagara's gets better as the game goes on and vision becomes more valuable. But Tyrande is good from level 1 to level 20. It scales all the way through since it's percentage-based. It's just a great trait. You have to be good to use it, but when you do get good, you can make insane plays on the back of Hunter's Mark. And that's why Tyrande has been so popular, and I think will still remain popular despite her nerfs, just because she offers utility that nobody else can provide and vulnerability that no one else can provide in the hands of a support, mind you, as well. So it makes her flexible and balanced as a hero. And even though some people might disagree, Hunter's Mark to me is the best trait in Heroes of the Storm. So there you have it. That's my list. If you think I'm crazy, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's your favorite trait in Heroes of the Storm? Those are my 5 top ones. Not necessarily the ones I enjoy the most, but the ones I do think that have the biggest impact on the game. So thanks so much for watching, and until next time, game on.